Want to make sure that you work harder when it comes to health and fitness? I have a scientifically proven way to make it happen. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this one. Welcome back to the Begin Within Health Show. I love that you're here with me. Thanks so much for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a quick favor, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe or follow the show, however it is that you're watching or listening. And then please rate and review the show, especially if you're over on Apple Podcasts listening. I appreciate it so much. That helps to get this podcast ranked more highly, already in the top 5% of all podcasts, but even higher. That would be awesome. I would absolutely love it. And then it helps more people to find the show and benefit from it. So anything you can do to help, I would appreciate it so very much. Today, we are going to break down what researchers call social facilitation. Have you heard that phrase before? Honestly, I don't think I did until recently to hear social facilitation. I was listening to a psychology podcast and this concept came up. I had read the research before, I was familiar with the studies, but I guess I missed the main phrase, social facilitation. Because once you understand this, you're going to look at accountability and workouts a whole different way. I promise you, this is really great research. This will help you to get more out of yourself when it comes to your health and fitness journey. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how you can use it. Make sure you listen all the way to the end because I'm going to share a single simple habit that you can build around this concept, which I believe is one of the most important things that you can take away from this discussion. And before we dive in, please don't forget health is nuanced. It is personal. It's something that's built over time. This is a small piece of what for you and for me is a lifelong process, a much bigger thing. We're just going to talk about a small piece of it. So please keep that in mind. And of course, if you're making changes to your health and fitness, your nutrition, those kinds of things, check with a doctor. Please check with your physician if you're unsure or you'd like a little extra guidance. Now, let's talk about the research here because this is really, to me, this is fascinating stuff. So this goes back from the research that I did back to 1965. There was a landmark paper in Science, which, of course, you got a journal named Science. It's a well-respected journal, right? And the main researcher, wasn't talking about fitness specifically with the study that was done and the research that was done, but what he found applies to workouts and to habits. They looked at decades of scattered research and pulled it all together into one framework. And what they found was this: the presence of other people increases your physiological arousal. All right. Your heart rate picks up, your focus sharpens, your body gets primed for action. That's what they found. Other people being around changed your state essentially as a human. So the key is that heightened state boosts performance on things that you already are familiar with doing. So maybe not learning something brand new, maybe, but more specifically, things that you're already familiar with doing. When someone else was there, when someone else was watching, you did it better. You did it with more strength, more focus, right? There was a physiological difference in how you showed up versus if you're just doing that by yourself. So for you and for me, what does it mean? It means that things that we already know how to do that are part of our health journey. And if you're like most people, most of those that are listening, tuning in, watching, this isn't the first time this isn't your first rodeo, right? This isn't the first time that you've tried to improve health and fitness. You're familiar with taking a walk, riding a bike, doing squats, push-ups, maybe jogging, running. But what we learned from this research is, and I'll put some links in the show notes for you if you want to dive in yourself into that, is that doing those things around other people naturally brings a little more out of you. And it's not because you're showing off, trying to look good to other people, but your nervous system literally gets activated differently when other people are around than when you are all by yourself. That back decades ago, that research, everything else kind of built on that. Everything else that I want to share with you is built on that foundation, okay? Is that you show up differently, your nervous system gets activated differently when other people are around. And maybe that's why we like being alone so much, right? For some of us introverts like me, introverts, raise your hand, right? Our nervous system gets activated differently when people are around, and it helps us perform those things that we are familiar with doing, helps us do them with a little more gusto. Not because we're showing off, but just because there's a physiological difference within us when others are around. All right, let me tell you about a little thing called the Köhler Effect. I'm guessing on the pronunciation there, but this one was even more specific to what you and I are after with health and fitness. This one was published in 2012 in the Journal of Sport and Exercise Psychology. Okay, sports and exercise. All right, now we're in the realm that we're familiar with, right? They had participants do the plank hold. You know the plank hold? If you've worked with me, you are a client of the Begin Within Fitness program. You know the plank hold. Elbows, toes, nice straight hip, right? Shoulders above elbows. So they're having participants do a plank hold challenge, both alone and then with a partner. And guess what they found? You could already guess because this is built on that original research, 1965, that we talked about. People who had a partner held the plank significantly longer than when they did it alone. Significantly. We're not just talking about a couple seconds. We're talking about a lot longer. But here's the detail that really matters. The effect was strongest when the partner was slightly more capable. Not a lot better, just a little bit ahead. Okay. So it became, this phenomenon was called the Köhler Effect, which essentially is the I'm trying to keep up dynamic. I'm trying to keep up with someone who's just a little bit more capable than me. So what we surmise from this is that when you're working out alongside someone who is just a step or two ahead of you, there's something extra within you. There's something extra that kicks in. You don't want to be the one who quits first. You don't want to be the one who finishes way last. You find something extra that you didn't know was there when there's someone else there who's just a little bit more capable. And what are we taking away? That's why working out with other people makes such a big difference. Why training with a coach changes things, right? The coach is that other person in the room we talked about from that first research, that when others were present, there's something else, there's something extra. Physiologically, nervous system shows up a little bit different when there's others around. Now, when you're training with someone else is exercising along with you, there's even more of an effect. You go a little further, you try a little harder. And especially if that other person is just a little bit stronger, quicker, whatever, right? We work that much harder. All right. So what are we taking away? Social facilitation makes you work harder in the moment. Now, let's talk about accountability a little bit, okay? Study after study on exercise adherence, showing up consistently, it shows the same thing. Okay, something very similar. That there is some positive social pressure, social obligation. It's one of the strongest predictors of consistency when there's some community that's doing this all together, knowing that there's other people, even if it's just one other person, expecting you to show up changes how you follow through dramatically. And it's not because you're afraid of being judged, but because you have made a commitment to the other person just by being there, being in that community, being part of that group, or asking them to be part of it with you. There's an implicit commitment, and we are apparently wired to want to honor those commitments. And so, what researchers find is that group based exercise programs outperform solo programs on long term adherence. Even when the exercises that are supposed to be uh, executed are identical, same workout, same frequency. But when there's a group that's somehow doing it together, somehow connected in it, maybe not even working out at the same time together in the same place, but somehow connected, somehow checking in with one another, the social layer keeps people going longer, longer term, more consistent, more workouts for a longer amount of time than when, hey, I have the same workout. I got it from the Facebook group, but I'm just going to do it by myself. I'm going to do it on my own without checking in. Now, less likely to be consistent long term. Is that interesting? Because the researchers have shown that it doesn't even have to be a physical person in the room, but rather what they call an imagined audience effect. Just knowing that someone might ask, hey, did you do it? Hey, did you follow through with your workouts? Even if they're not with you in the room when you're working out or working out alongside you literally, it shifts how you follow through. Just knowing that someone else knows what you are trying to do. It's like your brain anticipates the future check in and sees it as an extra positive force to follow through, right? I'm going to be ready for that future check in. It's called accountability, right? But what it means is that just posting your workout to a small private group, texting a friend after you finish, just having someone check in with you about your health habits, it all counts. All of it contributes to you moving the needle forward, or at least lowers the risk that you don't move the needle forward, right? Now, of course, there's no perfect answer here, but what we're doing is we're trying to take this research and we're trying to understand how to utilize it. Social facilitation, other people being around, makes me show up differently. Other people working out with me makes me show up differently. And just being part of a group or having someone else check in with makes me show up differently. All right, let's get concrete with this. Let's try to get some practical takeaways from the discussion, right? Because I don't want you to listen and feel like this is still some abstract thing. Let's get real specific, all right? And maybe you're already going there, and that's great. Here we go. Right? Let me give you some options. I'm going to give you 5 options on how you can utilize this research for your own health and fitness journey. If you're a personal trainer who happens to be listening or watching, make sure that you are finding a way to incorporate these things into whatever program you're offering. Okay? Number 1, for you in your health and fitness journey, find a witness. It doesn't have to be a workout partner, just someone who's going to ask, someone who's going to check in on you. Pick a person, pick a friend, a family member, a coworker. Here's the scary thing. You got to tell them what you're working on, right? And you're going to ask them to check in. Hey, I'm trying to do this thing. I'm trying to work out 3 days a week. Next Monday, can you ask me if I worked out 3 days last week? That's it. It's an accountability loop. Activate it. Find somebody who you know is going to ask the question, someone you know is going to follow up with you. And from what we know, just it could be anybody. It just needs to be a person. Anybody you feel comfortable with. Find a witness to your fitness. Hey, that's not in my notes. Promise. All right. Sorry. Option 2, join something with a group. Get a group. Join something with a group fitness class, a small group training program, a running club, a walking group. The format really doesn't matter as long as there's a social layer to it, a social component, some type of community. When there are other people who expect you to show up, you show up more often. Period. There it is. Join something with a group in your health and your fitness realm. Number 3, find someone who's your one step ahead of you person. Think about the people in your life who they're doing it, right? Maybe they're slightly more active, slightly more consistent, maybe a little more concerned with their nutrition, slightly farther along than you are, right? That's it. Find your one step ahead person and then spend time with them. Connect up with them. Find a way to interact with them more often. The effect is free. You just have to rub shoulders, connect in some way. Put yourself with that other person in some way, shape, or form. Text messages, whatever it is. Find a way to stay in touch with that person and connect. Okay. Option 4, and this one you can connect up the other 3 options. Maybe you're already going there, but just think about virtual options to do the things that we just mentioned. To have a witness, join a group, find your one step ahead person, do it virtually. That's option 4, virtual connection, a video call with a friend, even while you're working out separately, right? Hey, let's just give me a quick video call while you're taking your walk tomorrow, right? It triggers social facilitation. It doesn't have to be physical presence. It just has to be a person. If you work out at home, you've been struggling with motivation, just find a friend who also works out at home. Hop on a call while you're each doing your own thing, right? We have Zoom, hop on the phone call, whatever. You know what? This kind of, I'll tell you what, this is a little bit embarrassing, but in running the business, I realize there are a lot of times when I probably could be working on the business rather than in the business. So what did I do? I found a colleague and we connect every week, Monday, 1:30 p.m. for 1 hour. She also is a small business owner, solopreneur, and we both are on Zoom at the same time. We say hi, put it on mute, and then we just sit there and work. It sounds like the silliest thing, but you know what? I have gotten more done and built more into my weekly process as a result of that 1 hour meeting than probably any other thing that I've tried to get myself to follow through in working on the business. Why? Here we go. Social facilitation. Now that you know about it, use it to your advantage. In fact, I think if we're going to try to do it without respect for this effect, we're not going to be successful. Use it. Use it. And then option 5, coach or trainer. Get somebody like that in your life. Hello, hi, I'm here. Go over to beginwithin.fit, learn more. But that combines social facilitation, it combines accountability. You might have a trainer who's just a little bit ahead of you, maybe someone like me who's in the process too. I'm trying to take good care of myself. I don't purport to be anything special. I'm learning along with you and just sharing what I have learned from all the work that I've done with other people, right? But I'm still in it. I'm in it right along with you. Okay? When someone's watching you, someone's with you while you're working out, you perform better, you do better, and you have scheduled time, you have some accountability, you show up consistently. When someone's expecting you, hey, 6 a.m., you got your workout today, right? more likely to get up and show up when you have that. So it's a kind of the best way to incorporate all the things that we talked about, but it's there. Use it. Put it to use. What I want you to take away from this conversation is that you're not in this alone. You don't have to be, and maybe you shouldn't be. If you're trying to do it alone, there's some deeper things going on that might be holding you back from getting some accountability, getting some support, getting some community. Fitness and health, I mean, obviously it's individual, right? We talk about that each time on the podcast. It's personal, it's built over time. To a large extent, it is a solo endeavor. But research tells us that having other people involved in some way, shape, or form makes us better, at this process of health and fitness because we're wired to perform better, to push harder, to stay more consistent when other people are involved. So, why wouldn't we want that? Why wouldn't we do it? It's not a weakness to say, oh, I joined this or that. I got a trainer or a coach. Oh, I finally did it. I finally broke down because I just couldn't do it on my own. No one can do it on their own. Certainly, they can't do it as well on their own as they can with someone else, with others as part of the process. It's not a weakness, it's biology. It's just the way we are, it's the way we are wired. Use it to your advantage. You don't need everything. You don't need this big, huge warehouse gym full of different equipment. You don't need like the master bodybuilding coach. Just need one person, one witness to your fitness, one workout buddy, one check-in, accountability partner, one person who's going to say, hey, how you doing with the meal prep? How you doing with that diet you said you were going to start? Whatever it is, right? One person. All right, I told you at the start of the episode that I would share with you one habit that we can use to incorporate what we just talked about. One thing that I believe is the most powerful piece of this whole conversation that you want to make sure that you do differently if you haven't been already. I'm going to share that with you in a moment. But before I do, I mentioned my website, beginwithin.fit. Get over there. If the talk about having a coach, having a trainer in your corner resonated with you, and you just want to learn more, just go over there, beginwithin.fit, learn more. You can click the button to schedule a call with me. I've got a small little personal training business, but I'm helping a lot of people, and I love it. Book a call with me. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about where you're at. I'm happy to meet you and support you in any way that I can. But go over to beginwithin.fit and learn more about how you can keep your momentum going with real structure and real support and a system behind you. All right, here's the one habit. Okay, here's the one thing. I'm looking at this research and I'm like, what's the thing I want to share with you that I really believe will be a game changer, right? If you're only going to take one thing from today, what would it be? Here it is. Find someone. Tell them what you're working on. That's it. Find one person this week, today, one person, and get them involved. If it's not booking a call with me, that's fine. Talk to someone in your family, talk to a friend, talk to a coworker. Find one person and tell them one specific thing that you are working on. Don't be vague about it. Hey, I'm going to try to do fitness next week. Ask me at the end of the week how I'm doing, right? Just one specific thing. Hey, I'm trying to take a 20-minute walk 3 days a week. Can you ask me how I did with it? Be very specific and just ask for that check-in from them. Find that one person, one conversation. That's all you have to do. It creates the accountability loop. It creates the social obligation, right? And it makes everything else we talked about today real instead of just theoretical. Okay? Find that person. And you know what's interesting is maybe they don't do their job. Maybe they don't follow up with you next week, but you might find that you still do it anticipating that they are going to follow up with you. And so if they don't, they drop the ball, don't give up. Find a different person. Ask them to follow up with you. Right? Maybe you find a different person every week. No one ever follows up with you, but you do it because you're anticipating that check-in. Right? One person, one specific thing, 1 week. Just see how it goes. See if you follow through. Right? Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Before you go, I just want to tell you one thing. I absolutely respect you and admire you for being the type of person who is interested in becoming a better version of yourself. There aren't enough people out there like you. So I appreciate you. I'm going to celebrate you. Thanks for being here on the Begin Within show. If this resonated with you, please share it with someone that could use a little bit of science-backed inspiration. Maybe share it with the person that you want to have hold you accountable, someone you want to check in with you on your specific thing that you're working on. Of course, remember, your health is personal. Notice what works for you, adjust as needed, and keep taking good care of yourself. I'll talk with you soon.